Yo, what's good? How you all doing tonight? How you feeling? You feeling good? Are you ready? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? There have been a lot of special arts released this year, which is really cool to see. I think the special arts started again. Rapid Strike, Single Strike, that was the start of the year. I think each of those sets had 3 special arts each in them. And then since then, each set progressively has gotten more and more special arts in it. So Cardboard Hands in the Discord was like, you know what? I'll make a tier list and whipped this bad boy up, which has got a lot. That looks like at least, geez, what is that? 44 different special arts. That's a lot. And those have all come out this year, which is crazy. Some of them are promos. Some of them came out in unorthodox ways, like the Gengar, the Empoleon. Some of them haven't even come out in English yet. No, there's more. So we literally just updated this. Thank you, Cardboard. There are 3 new editions, which should have been in there. What are you doing, Cardboard Hands? Those 3 should have been here. Flareon, Vaporeon, and Jolteon VMAX. That's because they're coming out in English, so people are a little bit more excited now, which is cool. I'm down with that. Jeez. Okay, so there's 47 different special arts in the Sword and Shield era. It's kind of hard to pick a favorite. I'm going to go through it tonight. We're going to try and see where my list lands. I have a very refined taste. I'm a man of culture, so you know that my list is going to be good and better than yours. To start off, I'm going to go in order. So it looks like things are mostly in order. No, they're not. Doesn't matter. We'll do it anyway. So first up is the Empoleon V. This one's by Chibi, who I love. Chibi does good work. I was very happy with the Zero Aura V that they illustrated after this. So I like the Empoleon. This is a super underrated card. Always has been. It's not S tier. It's not C tier. So it's A or B. I am going to put it in... This is hard, see, because it's like, where do you draw the line between A and B? I'm going to allow myself to move things around later, but I'm going to put it in A tier because I do really like Empoleon, and I like how there are a few different Pokemon in this card. You've got the Phalanx in there too. It's a cool pose. I'm going to move him as I go. I'm going to shift him when I change my mind because inevitably I am going to change my mind. So Empoleon, A. All right, it's a freaking starter, man. It's Gen 4 represent. All right, how can you say no? Okay, next up, you've got Rapid Strike Urshifu V. This one's by, I'm pretty sure, Ryota Murayama. Another cool card, but see, this is where it gets a little bit easier because it's not S tier and it's not A tier. I can say right now it's not A tier. So it's not D, but it's not C. So it's B. I'm going to put that in B tier. That one's relatively easy. D, easy. Kygus. Well, that's way too harsh. It's not a bad card. Because this is the thing with the special arts. Just because you don't like them, you don't have to put them, you don't have to rank them badly. If you don't like them, that's fine. But like, if you don't like them, it doesn't mean that they're bad. C is pretty harsh, honestly. You know, actually not. Now that I look at it, maybe it's not. I'll probably move them around. Okay, undoubtedly, I'm probably going to move them around. Please be patient with me. This is my first time. Okay, Single Strike Urshifu V. Now this is a bit different. I'm kind of biased here because this is by Kawaii, and Kawaii is one of my favorites. So I cannot do Kawaii badly. And I do love it too. I love the pose. It's quite dynamic. There's a bit going on. Honestly, you know what? No. Now I'm on your side. I'm actually going to put Rapid as C because Single Strike is actually better. And is B. Arguably A. Could actually bump up to A, but I'm going to leave him as B for now. Remember, bottom of D is your least favorite and top of S is your favorite. Don't be that guy who puts 50% of them in S. That's fair. That's fair. They can't all be S tier. You don't want to have... I love every special art, so they're all the best. You know, there's ones I'm going to dump on. Okay, there's ones I don't like, and they will get what they deserve when I get to them. Okay, Tyranitar. This was a huge fan favorite. Everybody loved this Tyranitar. This one's by Hyoganosuke, and I think this was the special art that got most people excited for special arts again. It pretty much carried battle styles on its back. It's definitely not C or D. B is very harsh. It's an easy. I think this is an easy A. It's not S tier. I think that's an easy A. I don't think it's a B. It's a good card. Hyoganosuke's got an absolutely fantastic style too. I am biased to particular artists, so I can't do Hyoganosuke like that. They're one of my favorite artists, so I'm putting it as A. Listen, laddie, it's Sleepy Tyranitar. It is sleepy, but it's so cute. They're fat. They're full. They had a good time. They're living their best life. Okay, now we're up to Matchless Fighters, which means we're up to the birds. And the birds are fan favorites. The birds sent people Troppo, as most cards do. Okay, first up, we've got Arita V. This one's by Uta. I like it a lot, but I don't like love it. I don't love it. I like it. I don't love it. Okay, definitely not S tier. I can't put that in S. It's not A tier for me. It's not C tier because C is pretty harsh. I feel like I'm going to put it in B for now. I'm going to put it in B for now. Having said that, wherever I put Galarian Zapdos is going to really change up where I put Articuno because I think Galarian Zapdos is better than Articuno. Ugh. This is actually tough. Actually, you know what? I'm going to split the birds, and I think that's reasonable. I can't have like 2 S tiers and 1 C tier. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm allowed to flip-flop on my decisions. I can go back on it if I want. On reflection, Articuno is C tier. Only because out of the 3, I think it's the weakest. Zapdos is B tier as a minimum. As a minimum, Zapdos is B tier. Zapdos illustrated by Akira Komayama, who drew the Blastoise and Piplup GX special art from Remix Bout. And you can definitely see veins of that style here on this card. Definitely not C. Arguably A. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Zapdos is an A, and Galarian Moltres is an S. I'm gonna do it. Not just because it's Shibuzo, who's one of my favorite artists, but because it's such a good pose. It's got symmetry. It's imposing. It's got the moon in the background. The red is fantastic. The composition against the blacks and the gray. The symmetry there, like it's just aesthetically pleasing to look at with the way that the wings arch around the moon, and the moon's got a craters and stuff in it. It's so imposing. Can I say symmetry one more time? It's the symmetry. It's good. It's definitely S tier. So I'm allowed to do that. I'm going to bump up Articuno to B. Okay, there we go. So we got S8B, which is good. Those are all 3 really good cards. Moving on to Galarian Slowking V. This is a fan favorite. Illustrated by Tomokazu Komiya, who needs no introduction or explanation. You've probably got one of his cards as your faves already. Definitely not a C. Not an S tier. It's better than Articuno and Urshifu. So I'm going to put it as A. And it is one of my favorite cards. See, now that the list is sort of taking shape a little bit, it actually looks pretty good. Like, this makes a little bit more sense now. It makes sense to see these 4 as A tier. It makes sense to see these 2 as B, that as C, that as S. This is looking pretty good so far. Things are looking pretty good. Also very, very cheap and affordable card. Super underrated. I think it's like 2,500 yen. That's ridiculous. That's like what, 30 USD, 35 AUD. Tyranitar should be at the top of A. So you guys saying that like I need to move these around like that? Because if I'm going to move them around like this, I'm doing that. That's where I am for my A tier. That's where I am for my B tier. I'm actually going to do that. That's how I rank my A tier. Come at me. I'm sorry, but that Galarian Zapdos is flawless. The reason why the Zapdos is such a home run for me is because there is so much going on in the background with like the dust behind them. You can see that they've been running for a long time. It's just got, there's so many layers to it. It's so good. So next up, we have got Zeraora V. Now, this was the first card I actually found out of Jet Black Poltergeist, so I'm a little bit biased towards it. One of the things I love about Pokemon cards and special arts is when they have multiple Pokemon in them too. You've got Weevil here, you got Kecleon. That's a big tick for me. It's a nice, like it's a curious illustration. You got the light coming from the sun. The light is dispersing. It's so good. This is one of my favorite cards, and I was very happy to find this straight up. It also has a really nice texture too. This one's by Atsushi Furusawa. They actually illustrated the Vaporeon VMAX special art, which we will get to later on. I think they're also the artist behind the Arceus V, which is the promo card that's coming out next year with Arceus Legends. They are super talented, and they did an excellent job here with Zeraora. So for me, I'm going to put Zeraora as S tier. I really do like this card. It gives you Breath of the Wild vibes. Yeah, that's a good call. This one made you want to collect alt cards. There you go. Multiple Pokemon is a huge draw, Tropical. Yeah, it gets me every single time. This was a very exciting card when it got shown off. People were very happy to see it. This is where it gets tricky, because it's like, this is where I'm like, I love all my children equally. And I'm just like, I don't have favorites, kinda, but I do. I've got favorites. So next up is, Shadow Rider Calyrex V. This one's illustrated by Kodama. They actually drew the Lugia promo from the Vivid Voltage Build and Battle boxes, which is a nice Lugia. People sleep on those cards, by the way. They have fantastic illustrations. It is a really nice card, but it's not an A for me. It's like borderline B and C. I'm gonna put it as C, only because it doesn't like light me up, and it is a Yee Mon, like Joe just said. Yeah, no offense to the Shadow Rider lovers out there, the Calyrex fans. That is a Yee-ass looking mon. That's big head mode on a Pokemon. Blissey V, you know, I couldn't find this card, and I like it. It's Blissey, but it's just so plain Jane, you know, which is fine. Sometimes you don't need like to light the world on fire with your card, with your special art. But it's, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that Smithers, I'm home. All I can think of when I look at it is that scene from The Simpsons, because the door is there. It's a low C for me. Borderline D. I like Blissey, but you know, it's not doing it for me. Got very nice line work though. I don't want to be harsh and put like cards like that in D. I feel really bad. That feels like kind of mean. Putting a card in D feels like a sin, but Smithers, I'm home. Next up is Ice Rider Calyrex V special art. This one's illustrated by okJLUV. okJLUV, you know I love them. They absolutely dominate the TCG at the moment. This is their first special art, and I like it. I like it a lot. I don't like it S tier, but it's definitely, you know what? Okay, controversial time. Yes, Joe, you actually beat me to it. Mid B, because it's a yee-ass mon, but such a good illustration. Like, okJLUV made Calyrex look fantastic in this. The problem is that the horse looks better than the mon. Again, which is this is what kills me with these cards, is that, you know, the illustration is so goddamn nice, but it's just like, what's with that head? The thing that this card's got going for it though is that it's got multiple mon in it, which I love. It's got a Teddiursa. It's got the dealing. That's cute. Not enough to carry the whole thing. I'm gonna put it in high B. I feel bad. It is okJLUV's first special art, and I don't want to do him like that. But the mon, you know, the mon just gets me a little bit. And not everyone can be my favorite with these cards. You know, it's tricky. Next, we've got Galarian Rapidash V, which is a very nice card. I've only found this in English, and it did look really nice in English. However, the thing that kills me with this card is that depending on how you look at it, it looks different. Something to do with the perspective. It looks different depending on where you look at it on its face. I can't explain it, but when you see it, you can't unsee it, which kills me. I'm not the biggest horse person either. I'm not like a crazy horse person. No disrespect if you love horses. I know there are some pretty hardcore horse fans out there. And again, I feel really bad dissing one of my fave artists as well, Sui. They did Mew and Mewtwo GX, which is like iconic. It's not better than Articuno, so I'm gonna put it better than Blissey. I'm gonna put a high C. I'm gonna put it highest C, actually. There we go. I'm gonna put a highest C because I don't have much personal affinity to this card, which is important. I gotta put it C. I can't put it any higher. I'd be lying to myself. And also how I feel about the Pokemon too. If it's not one of my favorite Pokemon, it's hard for me to put them high. Sometimes there's some casualties. You know, what can I say? You can't love every card. If this was a tier list where I was like, every card is my favorite, we all sleep. Next, we got Tornadus V. Now, this was a card that I was conflicted on because I hate Tornadus as a Pokemon. This card ticks a lot of my boxes. You got so many different Pokemon in it. There's so much detail in this card. It's actually quite phenomenal. This one's by Tetsuya Koizumi, and it's an absolute banger. They managed to turn one of my least favorite mons into one of my favorite cards from Silverlands. I really like it a lot. You got Scorbunny, you got Quillfish, you got Rockruff. They're all single strike cards as well. That's an added layer of coolness to it. Not S tier, not A tier, unfortunately. It's gonna go into my high Bs, and I'm gonna put it higher than Ice Rider Calyrex and Articuno. Now things are looking a bit crowded. I've got no D tiers so far. I'm contemplating bumping Blissey down to D tier. It's gonna happen. Okay, now we're moving on to the Eeveelutions. This is where things are gonna get tricky because all the Eeveelution special arts from Eevee Heroes are pretty stellar. It's hard to pick one you don't like. The first one here is Flareon V. This one's by Your Itaby, who actually is the artist behind the Pikachu Scare promo. Edvard Munch. I think I mispronounced this in a previous video. You know the one where he's like, oh shit, that's a rat. It's a lovely card. It's got a fantastic texture. It's very fitting for Leafeon. They're coming out of the leaves. This is where I start like shuffling and changing things because it's definitely better than all the B cards there. I actually, you know what? I like it a lot. I'm going to put it as a better than Mama. I'm going to put it as better than Empoleon because it's better than all the B cards there. So I'm going to put it as A. I really like this. This was the first card I found from Eevee Hero. This is like, it's the worst. It's like, how do you pick a favorite? It's just it's too damn hard. Okay, Flareon. I haven't seen this card in the flesh, so I don't know what the texture's like. It's a very cozy card. I like the red. I like the coloring on the Flareon. I like how it's lighting the fire. There's a lot of things I like here. It's by Soichiro Gunjima, who actually drew that reboot. You know the reboot that I always say, I love this reboot. They drew that card too. Where do I put this one? I mean, so much detail, so much warmth. It's cozy. I'm going to put it in low A. A is going to get stacked with Eeveelutions very, very quickly. Okay, next up is the Vaporeon. Now, you guys are going to say this is controversial, but I'm going to have to go with it. I really like the Vaporeon. I like the Vaporeon a lot. This is one of the most thematically fitting cards out there. It's too damn cute. Look at those little feet. It's adorable. The colors are fantastic. I don't know what to say. It's just a fantastic looking card. It's by Tika Matsuno, who draws absolutely phenomenal cards. They draw that Victory Bell that I love. The Cresselia Rare as well that I absolutely die for. They are super talented. One of my favorite Eeveelutions. I wasn't super stoked when I found it, but the more I look at it, the more I love it. It's a bona fide S for me. It's not high S, but it's an S. I'm gonna say it. I love the Vaporeon. Nobody put the Vaporeon copy pasta. Okay, next up is Glaceon V. People in the Discord were going Troppo for this card. It's another fantastic Eeveelution. It's a banger. This one's by Narumi Sato, who is a relatively new artist. I think they really started around about Shiny Star V, Chilling Rain sort of period, so they are very new. They've got 2 special arts. The other one they did was Sandaconda V. Sandaconda V is nice, but it's not as good as this one. This is an absolute banger. How many times have I said banger so far? This one gets to the point much the same way that the Vaporeon does. It's very thematic. When you look at it, it just makes sense. You know, this Glaceon doesn't need to be doing any more than it's doing. It's so cute. These kind of cards remind me of Stitch, so maybe I've got high affinity to him. And I like Glaceon too. Glaceon's one of my favorite evolutions. So you know what? I'm not going to put it as S. I'm going to put it as high A. It's definitely in the A tier, and it's better than all those other cards there. So it's high A for me. You know what? No, you know what? It's better than Vaporeon, but Vaporeon isn't high A. Vaporeon stays as S. So it's gone S. So Jolteon V. This one's by Nagimiso. It's not their best card. It's pretty damn good though. I do like the Jolteon a lot. Their first special art, I'm pretty sure, was the Groudon and the Kyogre from Concept Pack 1. Its floor is definitely a high B. Better than Flareon, better than Leafeon. You know what? Honestly, it's better than Tyranitar. It's right up there next to Komiya's Slowking, so I'm going to put it as A. This is where I need to do sort of like, you know, some housekeeping. Okay, things are looking a little bit crowded on C tier. I think I'm ready to put Blissey and Rapid Strike Urshifu down a notch. I'm going to knock them down a notch. You know what? I'm savaging some cards here. I may even put that in D. There we go. I've done it. Espeon V by So-So. This card needs no introduction. So-So needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. I've spoken about him at length. You guys know I love him. We all love So-So. This was equal to their first special art with the Gengar VMAX special art as well. So they kind of got 2 special arts at about the same time. I like this card. It's very peculiar. Espeon's using their powers. There's a little bit going on here. Not S, but better than everything in B tier. So going into A tier. I can't just automatically rank this card high because it's So-So. It's no favorites, you know? There's no free passes in this world. You know what? There's still some more housekeeping. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring Empoleon down to high B. Okay, I think A tier looks a little bit better now. I'm okay with this. Now I'm going to put So-So's Espeon V as better than Flareon. Look, Leafeon, Espeon, Flareon, they're very close together. When I look at Jolteon, Leafeon, Espeon, and Flareon, I'm liking Jolteon the most out of those. This card also brings out a vibe that you've never seen Espeon in before. Espeon has always been pretty majestic and regal. This art shows a more playful side to the mon that I really appreciate. Instant S for me. Understandable. Have a good day, Joe. Still a great card. You know what I'll do? I'll do this for you. It's a mid A. That's pretty damn generous. That's good. Next up is Sylveon V by Unishida. This is their first Pokemon special art with the cupcakes. It's cute. It makes me want cupcakes. That's a plus. The thing that gets me with this card, Unishida, if you're watching, I'm so sorry. There's too much going on in the foreground of this card for me to really love it. Sylveon feels like background to the card. They don't feel like the focus, which for me is really important. The Pokemon's got to be at the forefront. They need to be front and center. The cakes and everything else that's going on at the front feels like it takes up too much space, and Sylveon kind of blends into the background. I like that there's multiple cupcakes floating about, but for that reason, it can't be an A for me. However, it's definitely a high B, so I'm going to put it as high B. Up next, Umbreon V by Teizero. This is a tricky one because Umbreon's like one of the most popular Pokemon out there right now. And Umbreon V and Umbreon VMAX special art. Yes. I know they're the chase from Eevee Heroes. Umbreon's one of the most popular evolutions out there. However, you know what? Hot take right now. Hot take coming in hot. The Umbreon V and VMAX special art, there are better evolutions in this set. And you're not going to like where I put Umbreon VMAX special art. So it's better than Sylveon. I'm going to put it in A, low A, because I don't think it's better than those other evolutions there right now. So it's low A for me. Not bad. Better than Sylveon. Better than the rest in B. Listen, I know it's Umbreon. I know everyone stands Umbreon, but it's not better than Jolteon. Jolteon is way cooler. What makes this card so cool for everybody? Okay, it's because Umbreon looks kind of scary and imposing. Yeah, okay, I get it. You got some Pokemon in the foreground that are blurred out so they're not taking up too much of the focus. Again, cool. The Pinsir's cool. Grimmsnarl there's cool. But like, you know, this isn't Pinsir V or Grimmsnarl V. It's Umbreon V. And there's more cool stuff happening with like Jolteon V. Why am I justifying myself so hard to you guys? This is just how I feel. It's my opinion and it's better than yours. So deal with it. Funny how these cards are barely 4 months old and they already have so much history to them. There's just so much like emotion here. So moving on, we've got GoLurk V. This is the card I've been telling everybody to invest in. If you haven't been buying GoLurk V, you've been making huge mistakes. You've been making all the wrong plays. You've been making misplays left and right. This is the card of 2021. Buy GoLurk V special art. Think later. Don't even think later. Just buy it and forget about it. Set and forget. This one's by Oswaldo Kato, who is a new artist. Their first special art was the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX special art, which we'll get to. I like this Golurk, and it's similar to Slowking in that it's like super underrated for how nice of a special art it is. Again, it's got the Swablu, it's got the Nickit on it. That's cute. They're doing something. It tells a story. You know, they're building a bridge. It's cute. Having said that, is it better than the rest of these cards in B? This is where things get a little bit easier because it's like, well, you know, it's not better than Empoleon. It's not better than Tornadus. It's not better than Articuno. C's not a bad rating, okay? C's not a bad rating. I'm going to do some housekeeping. I'm going to do that, okay? This is where I'm at here. It's low B. Okay, this next one's really straightforward. I'm just going to cut straight to the point. It's not because it's Mitsuhiro Arita, okay? It's because it's such a striking, defining card. This is one of the coolest special arts to come out in years. I'm going to make that claim, okay? The Noivern V special art, it is an S for me. I'm putting it right up there because of how much it bucks the trend of special arts, of Pokemon cards. It really does something different for me, and that's what I like so much about it. I'm never going to forget this card. I don't think I'll ever forget this card. If you look at my S tiers so far, they're very varying. You've got Dark and Brooding, you've got Curious, you got Playful, and then you've got Striking, Ultra Realistic. Variety is a spice of life. I say this every single time. So for that reason, it's a low S for me. It's right up there. Okay, now things get easier. Now things get way easier. Next up is Duraludon V Special Art, illustrated by Naoki Saitou, one of my favorite artists. Everyone loves Naoki Saitou. Usually draws full art trainers. The thing about this card though is that Raihan actually carries it. It looks like a character rare from Dream League, which is why when we all saw it, or at least for me, when I saw it, I was like, this is one of my chase cards. Raihan is a babe. This card looks like it's straight out of Dream League. So again, this is an instant S for me. And you know what? It's better than Glaceon. It's better than Vaporeon. Could be actually one of my favorite special arts for the year. I'm going to put it second behind Moltres. That's just how I feel. So it's an S for me. That Duraludon, I mean, Jesus Christ. That Raihan make me Finacked up. I'm finacked up on that Raihan. Sheesh. Next up, Metacham. We're gonna go with Metacham V, illustrated by Kiyotaka Oshiyama. I like special arts that have got different Pokemon in them in the background, but I don't love Metacham. I'm not the hugest Metacham fan out there. I know it's got Cloyster, you got the Plusles, there's a Hoppip, it's cute. It's also got that super strong anime movie vibe. Like, it definitely looks like it's illustrated by someone who's got history with anime, which Oshiyama-san does. You know, it's gonna be a C for me. Low C. You're absolutely gonna hate me on this next one, but you're gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to get over it very, very quickly. Next up, Dragonite V. This one is also by Furusawa, who, I know, I sung my praises for them when I was talking about that Zeraora, but this Dragonite, it's just, I'm sorry, but sleepy, cute Dragonite has been done. And while I like it, and I do, I'm not in love with it. You know what? I feel similar to it about the Articuno V. Beautiful mon, beautiful card. It's better than Golurk. So now that I think about it, it's low B, which is fair. That's a fair call. All right. You can't get mad at me for saying low B. Not better than stuff like Sylveon. Low B. We're going to go with low B with Dragonite. I love how Ken, you're just like, bro, come on. High B. High B. Nah, low B. Low B. All right. Rayquaza V special art from Blue Sky Stream. It's a banger. It's Rayquaza. Everyone loves Rayquaza. It's got that same Duraludon V special art vibe where it looks like a Dream League character rare. Don't at me, but this card is better than Rayquaza VMAX special art. It's by Arita Fuse. I think it's their first Pokemon special art. They usually draw full art trainers. They drew the Honey promo. They also drew Nessa from Shocking Volt Tackle. This is their first Pokemon special art, but it looks more like a trainer card. Maybe that's because they got so much experience drawing trainers. That's the kind of vibe they went for. It's gonna be, honestly, a low A for me, because I think these other A cards are better than it. Low A is not a bad score. It's still A. It just can't go straight to S tier just because it's Rayquaza and Zinnia. That's not enough. These are the things bringing it down. Ray isn't the focus. I feel like I'm contradicting myself now, because when I like lauded the Duraludon, I was like, Duraludon's not the focus. Raihan is. Damn. I'm in a bit of a pickle now. Okay, hang on. We can save this. I'm gonna save it. Okay, low S. Low S. I know I said you can't just carry it because it's got the Dream League vibes, but you can. All right, low S. And I need to give it low S because of where I'm gonna throw Rayquaza. And I know you're going to get mad. Too many S tiers? Maybe. Because the next card I'm going to put in S tier. I'm just going to say straight up. Celebi V special art. This was the promo that came out with Jet Black Poltergeist. It's by Teiziro, who is a new artist. Every single card they draw is fantastic, whether it's a common, uncommon, special art, whatever. They are doing fantastic work right now. I do love this card a lot. It's actually going to go into the mid S's for me. This is one of my favorite cards from the year. I think that's good. You know what? I think that's fair. S is looking pretty stacked, but that's okay. You know, that's okay. There are a lot of good cards. It's an immediate S. It's one of my favorite cards of the year. Sandaconda V. I know people like this card because it's got ties to the game and it's got like that cool little feel, like, you know, oh yeah, that's kind of like thematic and I like that. But I have no affinity with that. I have no real connection with that. So I can't rank it highly because of that. That is cool though. It's a cool touch. But unfortunately, Sandaconda is not a cool Pokemon. It's a high D. For me, it's a high D. That's it for V. So now we're moving on to the VMAXs. We should do a bit of a cull before I move on to the VMAXs. Ken, you make a very good point. We can put Golurk at C. You know what? I'm not going to be influenced by you, but I'm going to do it. You didn't have any influence on that. It's a high C. We can move it there. Dragonite can stay as a low B, but they're literally hanging on by a thread. Articuno, I just can't move it. I can't move it. I'm going to put Metacham as a high D, actually. There we go. You know what? I feel a little bit better about this list now. Here is a good point to move on to the VMAXs, because now things are going to get tricky. Espeon, illustrated by, hands down, one of my favorite artists. My favorite artist. I'm just going to go out there and say it. Corky Saitou. When this card came out and got revealed, I knew I had to have it. It was locked as a promo behind the Eevee set or the Gym Box or the Evolution set, whatever you want to call it. It's a fantastic card. It's got those Attack on Titan vibes. It's so dreamy. It's so sleepy. It's cute. It's warm. It's wholesome. And it's by Corky Saitou. It is what it is. It's a high S for me. One of my favorite cards of the year. Actually, it is my favorite card of the year. I don't think I'm going to put any cards higher than that on the S tier. It's a God tier. Now this card here, this card's D for many reasons, multiple reasons. First of all, you can barely see them. Like, they are so small, and I get it. That's the whole point of the card, like sense of scale, you know, it's trying to be like, they're a small Pokemon and they're doing a big thing. They're sniping. Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm not stupid. Having said that, you can barely tell that they're there. It's super dark. It's Empoleon, and I overpaid for it. Yeah, that's right. This was one card that I bought too early. I think I bought it on release day because I thought, you know what? I don't see those cards getting any cheaper. They're hard to find. I paid like 10,000 yen. It's like a 4,000 yen card now. It hurt me straight to the bottom. It's a low D. If there was an E, it would be an E tier. Now this card, Gengar VMAX special art by Soso. Like I said, this is Soso's first special art, pseudo first between this and the Espeon. It's hard to tell. They both came out at the same time, relatively. Sense of scale, tick. Detail, tick. Throat looks like the dark energy sign. That's a big tick. Soso, tick. Gengar, one of my favorite Pokemon. Tick, tick, tick. Yes, 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 we love it. It's an S tier. It's better than Neuven. It's right up there, actually, with how I feel about Celebi V. So take that with you. I love that card. Okay? It's an S. It's an S. Okay, now this one. Everyone watching, you're gonna have to deal with it. This is a huge deal with it moment. Rayquaza VMAX. Illustrated by Anesaki Dynamic. They kind of blew me away with this because they did a really good job. However, I think it's overrated. And when you look at it side by side with the Rayquaza V and you go, which Rayquaza is better? Which is the better looking Rayquaza? It's the Rayquaza V for me. Now, granted, I haven't seen this card in hand, so I don't know what the sparkles are like. I don't know what the shine is like. I don't know what the holo's like. But looking at both face value, scans, the Rayquaza V is nicer. It's not an S tier. It's a high B. It's not an A tier either. It's a high B. It's cool, but it's not that cool. And when I look at all the other cards in A tier, I actually feel like this. Oh, sorry, that was too harsh. Yeah, that's how I feel. You know what? That's how I feel. That's where I'm at now. If that was any other Pokemon, Umbreon and Sylveon, you would not be getting this upset. It's just because they're like the most popular evolutions. Yeah, I did it. I did it to Umbreon. You're gonna have to deal with it. Now, this is a card. Leafeon VMAX. Illustrated by Hyogonosuke. Hyogonosuke, very distinctive style. You've seen it before. You'd probably be very familiar with it. Not many people rate this VMAX evolution that highly. I do, personally. I'm gonna put it as high A, straight up, because I know already how I feel about it. I don't need to think about it. Going back to Ray, when I look at Leafeon VMAX versus Rayquaza VMAX, Leafeon VMAX is better. And now I'm looking at this again. I'm gonna do this. There we go. Now this is shaping up. Now this is a list. Now this is pod racing. I know a lot of people don't like this Glaceon VMAX a lot. I love it. And I'm also super biased because it's by Kurosaki, who's one of my favorite artists. Most notably known for Marnie from S.H.I.E.L.D., Skylar from Shiny Star V. They also drew the Rosa from Dream League. Those are some of Kurosaki-san's most known cards. I instantly fell in love with this card when I saw it. I love the work from Kurosaki, so I'm biased towards the artist as well. Just is what it is. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a bona fide S tier for me. And I'm going to say it's better than Celebi V. You know what? top 3. One of my top 3 cards. One of my top 3 cards. I was kind of bummed I couldn't pull it. I bought it as a single. No rarest. So it's a top 3 for me. Straight up. I love that card. I gotta say, this is the most thought I've ever put into a tier list ever. Next evolution is Sylveon VMAX. A really nice card. So much detail. So much detail. There's like, what, 3, 4, 5 Eevee? How many Eevee are on this card? There's a Vaporeon. Got a Marshadow. 27 Eevees. That's too many. A lot of detail on this card. This was the only VMAX special art that I found out at Eevee Heroes. I was very lucky to find this card. It's super XY now. This one's by Taida Akitsu, who hasn't drawn many special arts before. They've drawn the full art Zinnia though from Blue Sky Stream. They're really talented artists. A lot of their Pokemon cards, like their commons and uncommons, are really, really cool too. They've drawn Ghastly. I think that was one of their first cards, and it's really nice. So I think this card is better than Umbreon VMAX special art. Get a taster of what's about to come. It's better than Leafeon. The more I think about it, the more I like it. So I'm gonna say it's better than Glaceon, it's better than Vaporeon, and it's better than the Rayquaza V special art. It's an S tier for me. That's where I'm putting it. It's a low to mid S tier. It's a really nice card. Taida Akitsu is a fantastic artist. I've seen this one in hand, so I know what it's like. It's very sparkly. It leaves you with a sense of awe. When I look at it, I'm like, damn, that is a nice card. I'm so glad I found it. So maybe I'm a little biased on that front, but low S for me. I didn't cop too much flack for that. I thought I was going to get some serious heat there. All right, following up from the Sylveon is the Umbreon. This is the card. This is the card that every man, woman, and child is losing their bananas over. This is the card that make people do some things. And I get it. It's a nice card, like most are. It's a nice pose. It's kind of got a huge sense of scale to it. Umbreon to the moon, etc., etc. I get it. I get it. I get it. This one's by Keiichiro Ito. It's their first special art. It's a very nice card. Is it better than the others though? No. When I say the others, I mean the other Evolution VMAX special arts. For me personally, it's not better than Glaceon, and it's not better than Sylveon, and it's not better than Leafeon. Low key, my least favorite of the Evolution special arts. Okay, it's not a B tier. It's better than Ray. I think this is fair. That's how tight it is for me with the Evolution VMAX special arts. That's how tight it is. Leafeon is only just better than it for me. So I'm going to put it as high A. Like, I love Umbreon. Umbreon's one of my fave. Umbreon is probably my fave evolution, but it doesn't look as good as the other ones. Look at the Glaceon. Like, it's awesome. The Sylveon's got so much going on. The Leafeon, that is such a unique illustration. Hyogonosuke's got such an awesome style. I can't go past it. I've got to put it as the lowest tier of the VMAX special arts from Eevee Heroes. That's just how I feel. You like reheated Macca's fries, so not surprising. Sheesh, you gotta do me like that? They go all right. Sure, I ain't acting like Umbreon is your favorite. Glaceon VMAX wouldn't even make it on your list. Don't worry. Not all of us can be cultured. It's difficult. I'm glad I got the Umbreon out of the way. That was the elephant in the room. I've been keeping that in for a long time. Every time someone's like, what's your favorite? I'm like, you don't really want to get into it. You're gonna hate me. A moment of reprieve after that grueling exercise because the evolutions was hard work. That was seriously exhausting. I didn't put any evolution lower than mid B. That's honestly fair. And all the evolution special arts are fantastic. And none of them are lower than B tier. If you're putting them in C, that's a cold take. We're going back to Matchless Fighters now. So after that, we've got Blaziken VMAX special art. This card blew people away when we saw it. It is very striking. It's very cool. It's got an awesome sense of scale. It's by Shigenori Negishi. I think it is their first special art, actually. It's hard with this card because so many other cool cards have come out after it. You know, when it came out, it probably was like an S or A tier. Now, is it better than the other cards in this list here? It's not better than the evolution, so that's easy. So if anything, it's low. Yeah, you know, okay, look, Flareon's getting a bit of a rough ride there. I'm going to say Flareon is better than it. There we go. I think I feel okay with that. Low A. Is it better than Ray? It is. It's better than Ray. You know what? It's better than Ray. So that's the right call for me in my list. Never talk to me in my list ever again. That's the right take for me. Nakuda can be pleased. I'm glad you're pleased, Nakuda. Someone with sense in this chat. I loved this card when it came out, but this was because I'm a huge Capcom fanboy. It's illustrated by a very famous, revered Capcom artist known as Kinu Nishimura. She has done a lot of work for Street Fighter. So for that reason, I was like, I love this card. It's fantastic. And it is really cool. The problem with it is that it looks so similar to the regular VMAX of Single Strike Urshifu that sometimes it's even hard to differentiate the two. If you're not a big Capcom fan and you can't see the Street Fighter resemblance, you can't see that style being sort of evoked here with this illustration, it's hard to have an appreciation for this card. For me, like, I can see it. I'm like, I've got that affinity with it. It's kind of weird how other cards coming out has influenced how I feel about this card, but I can't help the way I feel. It's not a C. It's a mid B. I'm going to put it here. It's definitely not C. Putting that as C would be super disrespectful. Can I move any of these cards into C tier? Yeah, I can. I can put Dragonite there. Okay, I've now put Dragonite into C tier on reflection. Articuno. Now Articuno is hanging on by a thread here. This is fair. This is a fair tier list so far. Now this is a card. And the Rapid Strike Special Art. Phenomenal card. This one's by Kiyotaka Oshiyama, who drew the Metacham. This is better than the Metacham or the Metacharm. Tomato. It's better than the Single Strike. It's actually better than a lot of these cards here. I'm going to put it into low A. It's better than the Blaziken for me. I love this card. Look at the colors. It's fantastic. I've seen this card in hand. I pulled it myself. It's a low A for me. Okay, things get a little bit easier here. You've got the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX Special Art. This one's by Oswaldo Cardo. This was their first special art. Not in love with it. I'm going to put it as an easy C. It's mid C. That's just straight up. I can put that right there. I can put low C there. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Kawayu's Single Strike Urshifu V can go a little bit higher. JLUV, I love you. DC, take me out to dinner first, man. You gotta take me out to dinner first. No free rides here. The next Calyrex Special Art. This is the last one on the list for the Calyrexes. This one's by Mitsuhiro Arita. People went crazy for this card when it got revealed. It was really cool to see Arita-san back with a special art, and they did a really good job. There's actually a really cool story behind this card too. There's a comic that came out that tells a little story, and the boy and the Emolga from that comic are actually in the window. So that's kind of cool. When you're looking at the special arts from Jet Black and Silver Lance, you've got to think, which is the best one? I think that's what you got to think. That's key. Which is the best one? At the moment, I've got Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX and Shadow Rider Calyrex V as low C. I've got okJLUV's Ice Rider Calyrex V as low B. And I do think this is the best one from the set. So by virtue of that, I cannot put it any lower than mid B. I'm going to put it at mid B. I think mid B is okay for that card. I don't go crazy for it. I wasn't like chasing it. That's a big thing for me. I wasn't like, I need to open up another box of Jet Black because I'm chasing that card. Mid B, high B, look, it's the same thing. Potato. This one's super easy. And look, I'm not being mean here. This one's by Saki Hayashiro. They didn't really have a lot to work with. The problem with this card is that it's Duraludon VMAX. And it's like, how do you draw a special art for this Pokemon? I don't know. I'm not an artist. I'm not going to pretend to be. I don't have the answers here. Okay? I do not have the answers. I know it's got Rayquaza VMAX's shadow above them, and I get it. Ties the two cards together. For me, personally, the colors are kind of off. Like, it doesn't look pleasing to look at. Aesthetically, it's a little bit off. I feel bad just like ragging on it, but it just doesn't do it for me. It could be my least favorite special art. You know what? Just barely not my least favorite. Only because I paid so much for Empoleon. So it's a low D for me. Next up, coming down to the last three. These cards haven't come out yet. They just got revealed though. So these are coming out in English, which is cool. Everyone's very excited. First up, you got Flareon VMAX by okJLUV. Look, we all stand okJLUV. We all stand okJLUV. I like this card a lot. Looking at the other cards that have come out, is this better than Umbreon? No. Is it better than Leafeon? No. I like the Executor. I can never say it right, but I like them in the foreground. I like that they're under the shade, which is cool, but it's not better than Umbreon for me or Leafeon VMAX. I'm going to put it as a high A ahead of Neuven. I think that's fair. Honestly, I think that's fair. I like all the other Evolution VMAX special arts more than it. And you're going to see a bit of a trend here because then when we move on to the Vaporeon, this one's by Furusawa again. So they've got a few special arts here. I like it. Again, anytime there's like a playful sort of Vaporeon pose, the card gets a little bit cooler for me. You've got Wishy-Washy in this. You got Milotic, the Serbian Pokemon. I think there's even a Horsey. Is that a Horsey? I think there's a Horsey here too. A lot of detail on the illustration of Vaporeon, which is a big thing for me. For some reason, when I look at it and you look at the Vaporeon, it's like ultra detail, like super fine detail. I'm going to put this one above A tier. It's better than the Leafeon and it's better than the Umbreon for me. Is it better than the Rayquaza? Yes. Is it better than the Vaporeon? No. I'm going to leave it as low S tier, and I think that's cool. I'm cool with that because these two evolutions that are ahead of it are so much cooler, and it's not better than Sylveon VMAX. Having said that, I mean, low S is a fantastic ranking for that card. I'm okay with that. And if you're not, you're wrong. I'm right. Oh, a lot of speculation on where Jolteon's going to go. Last card here. It is the Jolteon VMAX special art by Hasunno. Not their first evolution special art that they've illustrated. They actually drew the Deoxys and Espeon GX special art from Tag Team All-Stars. So it's good to see them have another go at it. They've been around for ages. They are a very talented artist. This is a really nice card. I like how there are a lot of colors involved. You got the dark sky, you got the thunder, you got Jolteon, yellow, you got the green, nature, the trees, the little cottages there. There's a lot happening. Very distinct between the front and the back of this card. Pose, great. Lightning, tick. Dynamic, tick. Where does it land? Okay, it's better than Leafeon and Umbreon. Again, those are my two, like, that's my litmus test here. It's S. I'm putting it in S. It's better than Ray. It's better than Vaporeon VMAX. I actually put it higher than Glaceon and Vaporeon V. It gets past Sylveon. It gets past Gengar. It gets past Celebi too. You know what? Nah, it's going to go right behind Glaceon for me. I'm going to plop it there. It's high S. I'm really feeling it on the Jolteon VMAX special art. That is a nice card. I'm very excited to see it in hand. However, it doesn't top the Glaceon for me. The Glaceon VMAX special art is too good, and the Espeon is my favorite card of the year. That's where I'm going to put the Jolteon VMAX special art. I think it's reasonable. Overall, I think this is a solid as list. I'm not too generous. I'm not too rude. My S and my A, they are all good cards. You got to remember, there are 47 special arts here. There are a lot. I think it's on point. Took a lot of deliberation, and it was hard to diss a few cards there, but I had to do it. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm okJLUV. You can always tune to these Twitch live streams here, twitch.tv/okJLUV. Like and subscribe. See you at the next stream. Peace.
Yeah.
You Momars.